something that Ben White mentioned, the housing crisis. These are two properties that sold for those figures in Sydney. This tin shed, 1.6 million Australian dollars was sold for quite recently. The other one, 2.7 million for that rotten little house. Now, mind you, the one on the right has a heritage history. The tin shed is just a tin shed. This is getting like nuts. When you said $110,000, I'm thinking that would buy you a vegetable patch in Sydney. So, being young is such a situation that this very famous photo, it's now iconic, of this study hall that the school activists of Occupy built in the middle of the Admiralty site. And they did their homework there for 2 months, right? This seems like an extraordinary, wonderful, idealistic thing, but when you think about the conditions that youth and other people marginalised in the urban economy to have to contend with, developing small-scale communities of living, even through building out of cardboard, this aesthetics begins to make very serious practical sense and entails the type of politics that Ben was raising. So just to end with a couple of negative images of internationalist localism on the evil side, or the bad side. In recent work, Andy Wang and Daniel Goh have been cheeky and taken into referencing, which is our concept, and pointed out that some of these nativist and separatist movements are actually interreferencing each other in quite new ways. They're new kinds of nationalisms. The boy on the left may seem more attractive, but he's wearing a Hong Kong Indigenous t-shirt. These are the people who went around belting up anyone who had a shopping trolley at a particular time, because they might be mainlanders. This protest was particularly idiotic. It was a protest against Chinese aunties dancing. You know, there's a bunch of old mainland ladies doing dances in the street, and these goons came and, you know, rioted around them. They do other things that are great, I think, but it's a very ambivalent thing. The bitch on the right is back. Some of you may remember in 1996 she declared that Australia was being swamped by Asians. This is not a problem anymore. It's Muslims. And she has a whole new political movement that is trying to get the balance of power in the Queensland and Western Australian elections coming up. My point is, following Daniel, that these movements, they're not the same, but they have something in common, which is this, what they call a hate-loving nationalism. And they link together in ways that hate lovers in the past, people who hated, just used to fight. This gang is kind of linking up. These are the ones who want to overthrow. So, my last slide. What do our students do? Well, here you go. You know, there's been quite a bit of discussion in the wake of Trump's election, where members of the cultural left are blamed for the rise of Trump, as though if we had been doing class struggle and economic justice for 30 years instead of gender, race, sexuality, and so on, Trump would not have happened. Maybe, really maybe not, I think. Nevertheless, it simply is not the case. Certainly in the Australian environment, where students have to do engaged community research because of the nature of our research funding system. In Australia, you do not get paid to produce new interpretations of canonical texts. Forget it. Leave the country if that's what you want to do. You have have to produce new knowledge on scientific lines. So I got this ad the other day for